In this video, I'm going to talk about what we don't know that we don't know. And that is, of course, a huge subject. So I'm just going to talk about an aspect of it that I found in my personal life really important to recognize, because this is a cause of a lot of psychological pain, and 99.99% of human beings experience this. So people who are not very in tune with what is actually going on when you commit an action, they think it's possible to do something without first cultivating the appropriate stimuli within oneself to actually go and do it. So let me give you an example. For me to go and eat something, there must first be some sense of craving or hunger or something to that extent there. Otherwise, I won't just go and eat. But in the same fashion, for me to make a, do an action that is bad to other people, then I first need to cultivate some type of negativity. So if I'm going to steal something, then I first need to cultivate greed. And because greed is uncomfortable and I want to get out of the greed, I actually steal to not have to feel that greed or sense of lack or something to that extent. Okay, so what does that mean? Well, it means that you cannot do something that is good for yourself and bad for others. I mean, of course, out of ignorance, you can do stuff like that if you, I don't know, do something that gets consequences that wasn't your intention, right? Then of course it's possible. But from the perspective of doing something intentionally or subconsciously intentionally to get something out of others, or is that stands in relationship to others that is bad for them and good for you. That's not possible, because first and foremost you must cultivate greed, hatred, anger, ill will, those type of negative experiences that are uncomfortable, right? Okay, so then you commit an act to get out of this pain. Some people might say that, oh, but that person is a bad person. That person is an evil person who does that intentionally. Sure, they might do it intentionally, but they are not bad people or evil people. They actually commit these actions out of compassion. Of course, not out of compassion for their victims, but out of compassion for themselves. Because when you cultivate some negativity, you have compassion for yourself and that painful experience. So, out of compassion for that pain and that suffering, you act to get out of the suffering. Okay? Of course, I'm not saying that that is a good thing or something that we need to accept. Not at all. But what I'm saying is that the person is ignorant. The person doesn't know what they're doing. They don't understand the consequences of their own actions when they're doing those things. They don't understand that those actions will propel more suffering, more pain, not just for themselves, but also for other people. And a person who is ignorant, can we really blame them? I mean, sure, we can. And this is actually the realization of Jesus, because when Jesus was nailed to the cross, he said to about the tormentors, to all of us, that you must forgive them because they don't know what they're doing. And what he realized was the exact same thing that I'm explaining to you right now, is that the people who were tormenting him, the people who were harming and hurting Jesus at the cross, they first had to cultivate the anger, the greed, and the hatred and the ill will. So they were actually harming themselves and they were harming Jesus. But it goes even deeper than that. Because what he realized was that in blaming them, in rejecting them, the tormentors, right? Then you first must cultivate rejection, hatred, ill will within yourself. That's why you blame them, because you are ignorant as well, just as the tormentors are. So you're doing the same thing as the tormentors are doing by blaming them for something that they couldn't help or that they didn't see. They were ignorant. And that is painful for yourself. The experience of rejection and the rejection of others is also always a rejection of oneself, because to reject somebody else, you must first cultivate that felt sense of separation within yourself, and that felt of sense of separation is of course painful. And just as with the person who is ignorant, they deserve compassion, and the same with you, because you are always way, way, way too hard on yourself. And that reflects in how you treat others as well. So, this was a short, basic explanation of morality. We've talked about how we first must cultivate negativity to be able to project that onto others. And for the ones who are very ignorant, they must first cultivate a lot of negativity before they can actually hurt and harm others. They are causing themselves pain in doing so. And we are causing ourselves pain when we paint them as evil and bad. And that is not to say that we need to accept those type of behaviors, but we must be very careful and diligent with ourselves so that we don't perpetuate the negativity of the perpetrators. Okay, peace for now.